is consistent regardless of the case because that's independent of the technology being used. For construction jobs, if Brayton Plant remains, there's not going to be construction jobs, and the renewables and the natural gas replacement result in similar amount of construction jobs. Then you can see from the operation and maintenance jobs, there's similar amounts to the current level of Brayton Point employees for renewables across the state. But the salaries is a trade-off, whereas current employees have higher salaries than renewable employees would. And in terms of property taxes, there wouldn't be renewables happening at the local site because we're assuming that most of the renewables come from offshore wind. So there would be a definite hit to the town, but there would be increased property taxes assuming that you replace the plant on site. So when we're looking at this chart, we can sort of demonstrate that for the stakeholders looking at this decision making, they're going to have to make difficult choices in terms of salaries and jobs versus health impacts. You can see that the total system cost on a relative scale isn't very different. So with that, questions?
This is a great job. This is a really complex issue, and Brayton Point is actually the plant that is projected to last the closest to 2020. This will be really helpful for stakeholders. A couple of questions that I have and that always come up around these issues are, one, were you able to translate the health impacts into monetary costs? People, regardless of what you do, regardless of how many deaths and asthma attacks you put up there, the opposition to these projects and to this change in the energy system will always ask, how much does it cost, and can you show me how much the cost of the health impacts are? So is that something you were able to do, or was that kind of beyond the scope of?
It wasn't beyond the scope. We elected not to do it early on. We decided that we wanted to just present the health impacts numbers because of the contentiousness of that question, but certainly in our analysis looking at the 2000 levy study and some of the recent numbers from the Clean Air Task Force, they do make those translations, and so we could certainly, given a range of assumptions, take our values and plug them in and assign them if that's something that the stakeholders would find particularly useful. So I think we'd be able to do that, but we elected not to do that.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, can you introduce yourself for the
Sorry,
class?
I'm Shanna Cleveland. I'm a staff attorney at Conservation Law Foundation, and we have what's called a coal-free New England campaign that we've undertaken here in the region. We've shut down one plant, a smaller plant in Somerset, Massachusetts, so they've already taken a little bit of a property tax hit there. And Salem Harbor has announced that they should shut down by 2014. So we have 2 more plants left in Massachusetts and a couple of other plants scattered through New Hampshire and Connecticut to take care of.
Just a quick note on that. The Somerset plan was a reduction in $600,000 to the town. This would be a reduction
Yeah.
of $13.5 million. So significant difference, yeah.
So I have a question about why natural gas isn't currently used or how much natural gas is currently used in the state. If it's small, why not? And how do you project this conversion of a natural gas plant really will affect supply nationwide? Because lots of people have been saying natural gas is cheap right now because of all of the fracking and all these other things going on. But as more and more people say, hey, natural gas is cheap, and they start using it, the price of natural gas is going to go up. And y'all talk about a threshold. So what's the probability of reaching that threshold? I mean, this is really, I didn't really predict this, but I don't know what y'all's take is on it.
In our test, we sort of drew the modeling box around Brayton Point. We said we're going to assume things outside our constant, so we're going to assume that the price of natural gas coming in is constant, that this plant is not using enough natural gas to drive up prices really high. But you're right, I mean, in a more, sort of a larger scope, more integrated assessment model, it would have really big impacts.
Other questions, right?
But then, so let me follow up on that, because you indicated the current price is 5, right? 5 for whatever. BTUs, cubic feet and then you said 7, it was, you sort of said no. But I'm sort of a little, can you go back to explaining what you meant by sort of the cost effectiveness there as opposed to the marginal cost of electricity to the consumer, which seems to be the sharper.
Okay, sure. So what we did when we were modeling building a new plant was we'd say, how much does it cost in capital terms to build this new plant? Then you'd say, okay, if we're gonna operate, if it costs us much to build a plant and we're gonna operate for this many hours out of the year, what price do we need to charge to break even? And we basically iterated until the amount of the plant would actually generate in the year would converge to how much we thought it would generate. And in some cases, we found that the plant just would never generate power, so we would never build the plant because we would never break even. So in theory, we should build the plant, but we'd be losing money. Does that make sense?
Does that suggest that there's a reliability dimension to the way that you think about this? That, of course, because averages are nice, but you know, grids are all about peaks. Is there anything about that?
I think, right. We didn't assume an average demand on the system. We actually assumed demand varying every hour of the year. And we do the price that way, so that you would actually find the worst hours of the year when the price was very high. And in those hours, it probably wouldn't be cost effective to run your plant. But if you're only running a natural gas plant for 5 hours out of the year, you should charge an astronomically high price to recover your capital balance.
And recall that we were assuming that this would sort of replace Brayton Point in the same, function, baseload function, which is not obviously a reliable assumption if it turns out that we can reduce energy efficiency by a certain amount, and maybe we just need a smaller peaking power plant. But that was sort of the basis.
The interconnectedness of the grid comes into play here. Obviously, about half of the electricity in Massachusetts right now already comes from natural gas, so natural gas certainly is used in Massachusetts, but the question is replacing this largest coal station, which is a major part of the baseload delivery in Massachusetts with natural gas. That's where these considerations come.
Good question?
Yeah, early in this process, they had contacted a bunch of stakeholders
Yeah.
to figure out which direction to go. Can you talk about how you manage that and what kind of resulted in?
Sure. So we have contacted a stakeholder at NESCOM, which is the Northeast States for Coordinated Air Use Management, and we kind of pitched the idea of what if we did a Brayton Point study? Would this make sense? Would this be reasonable? And he said, yeah, go for it. We had contacts at the Environmental League of Massachusetts, at the Conservation Law Foundation, at Students for a Just and Stable Future, which are 3 organizations working around the coal-free issue in the state of Massachusetts. And we really just sort of checked in with those contacts and said, would this be a useful product for you? And then we had direct interactions with the sponsor of the bill that's being considered, Representative Lori Ehrlich, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but wrote a personal note this morning to say that she apologized for not being able to be here today and looks forward to our report as an input into the legislative process. And that came much later in the process, and she gave us some background on the nature of the current debate and discussion and what issues might be more salient or less salient.
Well, thanks for